And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the PiGosaur Monday number 8. I'm, of course, your host, VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. And oh my god, it is an amazing day to wake up here. We wake up bright and early here to what? To the new patch being live on the live servers. Let's go. The PTR is behind us. The patch is live. Not just that, but we have a new and old map pool once again. It is so good here to be back. So refreshing, papi. Oh my god. And here we go. We're jumping right on in and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Neon Violet Square. It has been years. It has been years since this map has been in the map pool. Oh my god. I cannot wait to dive back in. We have the red Protoss player from the land of the Americas representing Root Gaming. It is a creature. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have, I believe, the Argentinian Terran player, the yellow Terran. It is Kyto. And first things first, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. I already see it's yes, pachinko. It's time to get your pachinko going, papi. Let's go. What are we talking about? Well, if you have not, or if you're maybe a little bit newer to the StarCraft scene, if you're a little bit newer to the competitive nature of StarCraft, you will not know this map was in the map pool back in 2017. 2017, that is a year after, or almost 2 years after Legacy, because it was 2017 into 2018, pre-COVID era of StarCraft, and we have pachinko. Let's go. Let's go. There are there's a reason why it's called Neon Violet Square of all things. Fun fact, these are all individual squares that your units do kind of roll between, so we can play some pachinko, can make movement between the center of the map very awkward. You can of course knock down the rocks, but this can definitely congest things up when it comes to your army movements, so you do have to be careful. Likewise, we have our natural, not just the natural, we have it in base pocket as well. Let's go. We have a pocket base, no gold or anything like that. Bearing in mind as well, and if you notice, we do have a pocket base, but it is less valuable than normal. Only 4 patches. Only 4 patches here instead of your usual 6 patches instead. So there is a pocket base, there are 2 gases, but there is less minerals than normal. So it is not as valuable as a typical standard pocket expansion. Regardless, very defendable on 3 bases. Coming into the natural, there is a ramp, there is a choke point here on the right hand side, but still all in the same direction. So it is relatively easy to turtle up on 3 bases. Is relatively easy to turtle on up here. Likewise, we have the gold. We have the gold here in the center of the map. I mean, both sides have their own gold bases. Is of course quite exposed. There's no kind of natural defense for this. It's very wide open. There is high ground and a cliff face right next to the gold base as well, so it can be abused in multiple different ways. But before we do get into that, we do have our first skirmish here, and all the pachinko back. let's go. As we do have our Adept and Reaper going to be skirting through the map, of course, and this gets very congested, of course, when you incorporate force fields. Force fields as well can really just mess up this location as well. Of course, you can rotate towards the fringe areas of the map instead. Plenty of bases to expand into here, and again, because that defendable, you are on your initial 3 and then soon to be 4 base setup. We have seen a little late game on this map as well. You typically expand here towards the right hand side. You can try to take this center expansion as well, but again, it is very exposed, very wide open. You can even lay siege from the high ground as well, so that is something to bear in mind. Whew. Oh boy, let's go. Almost thought it was Evo mode because of the Terran CC. It's true, it is the old school Terran CC. We have been casting a lot of Evo. We have been casting a lot of SC Evo, so yeah, we have to reacclimate here back to the SC2. But again, it's been a long time. It's been a very long time. You know, this is again early Legacy of the Void meta map, and there are some more older maps as well, like Abyssal Reef and King's Cove as well. So it is 3 old maps from many years gone by. Reaper goes down. We do see creature going for a Stargate opener. Stargate into, I would imagine, yep, Stargate into Phoenix. So Phoenix based opener out of creature. Meanwhile, Kyto back at home going for a 1-1-1 setup, getting into his early tank production. Getting into, oh, interesting, could be Banshee, could be Raven here to help support. Regardless, Kyto, he is going to be building up on 2 bases. Again, long rush distance by ground, I should also emphasize that as well. So something like all-ins are disfavorable on this map, as you can imagine. I mean, imagine Queen Walks, right? Imagine going for like a Roach Queen Walk across the map. I mean, the rush distance is very long, and on top of that, the pachinko machine is not going to help when it comes to trying to walk across the map as well. You will get congested, so this is more macro-oriented, very much so. Especially, you know, emphasizing how defendable it is on 3 bases. as it does move out across the map. For those that are curious, 0 maps from the previous map pool have been left on, so there's no Side Delta, there's no Oceanborn, there's no Alcyone, none of that. None of the older maps, or none of the maps from the previous patch have been felt over or left over, which I think is a good thing. We completely like wiped the slate clean when it comes to the older maps, or when it comes to the previous map pool. We're done with all of it. We never speak of it again. We burn it, baby. Burn Post Youth, burn Amphion as well, all of it. Oh god, get it out of here. Crimson Courts, ugh. Never speak of it again. And so now we are going to be knocking down those rocks, opening things up here so we can, of course, expand and take our linear fourth, I would imagine. Actually, never mind. Creature will take the gold base, or I said the pocket base, I meant to say. Phoenixes are moving out. They do come across Raven. Raven gets caught out. Massive pick off here. Ay. Raven does fall. Phoenix is ahead across the map towards the natural. Alas, Kyto, he does respond in time. Turrets are on the way. Marines are getting in position, but alas, these are vanilla Marines. They have no stim. So they shouldn't really dive on the Phoenixes. Kyto getting his third base behind this. Getting his third up and running. Just at this cap. Oh, no. No, it's back full time. As the Phoenixes, they do dive in, and I should also emphasize this as well, in case I didn't make it clear. Neon Violet Square is back in the ladder map pool. This is not specific for the tournament. It is back to stay. It is back here to stay for this season of StarCraft 2. As I was mentioning before, they have gotten rid of completely the previous map pool. They've added the new maps from the PTR and old maps like Neon Violet Square. So this is not tournament dependent. So if you go to the ladder yourself, you'll see it. You'll see it there as a ladder option. Ladder's cap. Oh no, you're clowning in the chat. You're clowning. So the 3 new maps in the current ladder map pool is Neon Violet Square alongside King's Cove and Abyssal Reef. Yo, it's been a long time since I've had. I'm looking forward to going back to Abyssal Reef. Not gonna lie, I miss it. We'll get there. So yeah, it's great to see 3 of these older maps back in the current map pool. Again, we were asking for a dream pool for quite some time, and this is like half a dream pool. So you know, it's okay, half a dream pool. I guess a third of a dream pool, since it's 9 maps and only 3 of them are old. So we'll settle for a third of the dream pool. As Phoenixes, they dip in, they get 2 SCVs, just the initial 2 though, not the ideal trade here from Creature, but behind this is going Phoenix Colossus. Colossus are building up here behind this, getting into Extendable Lance, working towards +1, working towards charge. I mean, Creature, he is looking quite safe and secure back at home, and Kyto has been quite passive. He's been defending, he's been building up his tank count, Ghost production underway. I mean, again, sure, he is quite safe and secure on 3 bases, but eventually he will have to try to break out, and by the time he does, I mean, it feels like Creature is going to be outscaling him, as Creature is the first to expand and the first to take a 4th. Base has been taken. Why King's Cove? King's Cove is an odd one, definitely. It's a little bit odd as a map choice. I wonder what the rationale was behind those maps. Part of me feels like Abyssal Reef and Neon Violet Square, they make sense when it comes to larger macro maps, because that is something that we have been lacking a little bit here. Longer rush distance, you know, more bases as well, wider, I should say, more exposed or wider open in the center. At least here for Neon Violet Square. Less so for Abyssal Reef, as there are more kind of cliff faces and more attack paths. There's a lot to get into, and I'm sure we will be casting some Abyssal Reef and some King's Cove throughout the tournament. I'm sure we will get there. I'll be honest, I would not be surprised if some of those maps are more popular than the current new maps. I'll be like, mate, people are going to be playing more on Neon Violet Square than they would be on like El Dorado or even Whispers of Gold. Yeah, I can see Whispers of Gold being vetoed quite often, to be honest. They also name changed Snowpiercer. It is no longer called Snowpiercer. It's called Frontline instead, or something, or like, sorry, Frostline. That's it. For some reason, I don't know why they name changed, but sure. Is Frostline now. As Creature is going to be the first to move out. Da Pachinko. The warp in. No, oh god. Okay, we're good. As the army does get through, pushing it towards the natural. And Kyto, he's somewhat set up for this. He does have a wall of turrets on the way. He has a handful of tanks, but they are spread out between these bases. And I still feel like it's going to be a tough hold here for Kyto. He has, in a sense, been left behind. Is heavily supply blocked as well. Oh no, now's not the time. Brutal supply block here for Kyto. He's got 2 depots on the way. Nothing is being built. And a creature is soon to push in. Just waiting for those additional Archons. Storm is done, so he's got Storm, he's got Colossus. It's not going to be easy breaking through that initial depot wall, but I mean, he's got the pieces for it. Yeah, Will of the Tanks breaks on through, gets on top of the tank line. The army's at position, massive storms. Oh my god. The storms, they zone back the biome. And creature is snowballing out of control from here, breaking into the natural base. And more storms behind this. And alas, Kyto just can't really stop this kind of army. Even if he protects his 4th base, he can just push into the main. He's just going for the tanks. He's going for the tanks. GG gets called, and creature takes game number 1. GG. Creature does take the first game. Again, coming into this, creature is the heavy favorites, but a shout out to Kyto, of course, for competing here and for being able to experience some of the new old maps once again. And we'll see what we get into here in game number 2. I'm curious if we go for another older map. Again, like Abyssal Reef and Neon Violet Square were some of the more popular maps in the previous map pool, so I would not be surprised if we embrace those more often than not. Would not be surprised. King's Cove, maybe less so, but we'll see. We'll see. Here we go. So we are getting ready here for that second game. After this series, we'll go over the brackets. After the series, we'll go over the brackets and we'll catch up on all the upcoming matches and where we are headed from here. We'll get there. We'll get there. We will get there. I also appreciate that, especially because they have reintroduced Neon Violet Square, that now we have like another like pink map. Do appreciate it. We have a little bit of variety when it comes to the color palettes. Let's go. More than we used to. Oh, okay. We have game number 2 here. We're going to be loading into Frostline. And again, Frostline is Snowpiercer. Fun fact, Abyssal Reef was in the map pool for SEO number 1. Yes, that was back in, what, 2017? Abyssal Reef, infamously, I feel like was in the map pool for a very long time. Let me just double check that. Abyssal Reef Wikipedia. Quickly checking. Yep, it was in the map pool for 1 year. 2017 January to 2018 January. So an entire year of Abyssal Reef. We had it for a very, very long time. Jesus. Oh boy. But here we go. We're now getting into game number 2, and we are loading into what used to be called Snowpiercer. Now it is called Frostline. We have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Root Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is a creature. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the yellow Terran player from the land of Argentina, representing Clan Niebla. It is Kyto. We go. So we are going to be settling in. Again, Snowpiercer being the largest map of the new introduced maps in the current ladder map pool, alongside, you know, your Amygdalas, your Eldorados. Frostline is the largest. Likewise, very spread out, very wide open as well in certain instances. And we'll see what kind of game we do approach this time. And based on the 2 maps, it does feel like both players are willing to be a little bit more passive and be a little bit more macro-oriented. These maps do facilitate for that, referring to Frostline and Neon Violet Square specifically. Not to be confused with Neon Violet Hold, which I would often say by accident. Let's go. So we do move out. So far, it is going to be double gas. Double gas open out to Kyto, going for a faster factory. Meanwhile, back at home, creature just going for a gate cyber into Nexus. Standard opener from our Protoss. Again, something that's just a little bit more tech-heavy here from Kyto. We saw last game that this did lead into early tank production, into Raven, into eventual Bio tank. But again, it was just a really passive kind of game from Kyto. He never really moved out. He was just more focusing on just being fortified back at home and building up and expanding. But he wasn't too greedy was the problem either. He was like just slowly taking his natural, slowly taking his third base. He was eventually outscaled as Creature recognized just how much freedom he had. And Creature was able to just tech up quite quickly, expand faster, and just take full advantage of his opponent. So we'll see if Kyto does decide to apply a little bit more pressure this time and be a little bit more active. But now, Reactor Marine. One base all in. This I'm not so sure about on Frostline, but okay. It's going to be a 1-1-1 Reactor Marine production tech lab on the factory. It looks like we're rushing into tanks, into medevacs. This looks like a one base all in from the Terran. And I am just concerned about how effective this is going to be here on a large map like Frostline. Already we do see Creature. He did get eyes on the factory. He knows that something is a little bit wrong, and he does open up Twilight Council. As opposed to the previous game where he opened up Stargate, where he would be vulnerable to an all-in, here with a Twilight Council opener with Blink, I mean, Creature, he should be active on the map, and he can slow down this push, and he's going to be playing very safe. High Dev shades in. He shades into the main. He sees the starport. He confirms lack of CC. He gets an SCV kill as well. And he sees everything. The boys are being pulled. Oh no, they don't get this around. They barely don't get this around. Adept does manage to waddle past. Does shade out. And from here, things are looking a little bit bleak here for Kyto as he has been scouted. And I'm curious if he pulls the boys with this. Again, he is hyper committed. From here, Creature, all he has to do is just warp in Stalkers. Warp in Stalkers and slow this push down. There's 4 Marines, 1 tank. This feels like a bit of an early move out as well before we really have any support. It's, okay. let's go, baby, let's go. I would like this a lot more if he did pull the boys, to be honest. Not saying it would work. I think I just like it. As the army has arrived, here come additional Stalkers. Shield batteries are on the way. Nice energy overcharge here on the Sentry. The tank is caught on siege, so we do dive on in. There's a Guardian Shield. Tank is going to go down. And these are vanilla Marines. I mean, they can't really do much here. Not on their own. Medevac comes into supports, but again, the Marines don't have stim. They're going to be targeted down. Sentry gets saved. Nice control here by Creature, shuffling back the Sentry. Another tank has arrived. But from here, Creature can just back up, kite back. Tank does re-sieged within range. Ooh. Tank bully going up. Tank bully goes up. Creature supply blocks. Now is not the time. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Nice spread here by Creature. Does avoid some splash damage. Gets on top of the tank. Tank is going to go down. Ooh. And Creature holds. Creature holds behind this. Again, it was a one base all in. It was a one base all in. There's no expansion. There's no macroing out of this. There's nothing else here for Kyto. And now Creature can counterattack. Behind this, Blink is done. Blink just out finishing. Creature moving out. Catching out Marines. And Kyto, he's trying to get a CC on low ground. That's a bold move. That should not finish. No shot. Forces a cancel. Kyto is stuck on one base. Trying to build up. Has a tank so he can defend his main at least. Never mind. Bold move at a Creature. He does blink in, does get the tank, but he should be cleaned up. Like these Stalker, it was an ambitious move. Did get the tank, but yeah, he's running out of steam here. Oh, getting the medevac though. Medevac gets sniped. Creature, he can keep pushing. In this kind of game state, yeah, he can just keep pushing. Another tank has arrived. Takes some volleys. We blink on top of it. Tank goes down once again. Nice target firing on the Marines. There's 1 Marine left. Up, 2 more popping out. Immortal has arrived. And this is game-ending damage. At this point, this is game-ending damage here. He thought he can maybe take down the Stalkers, true. But GG gets called. There's just too many losses here, and Creature will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played, Creature. He will claim the series, will advance on into the next round. My condolences to Kyto, but a shout out to our Argentinian Terran player here, as again, he is more of an amateur player. He's a diamond player, and he's going up against GMs, he's going up against pros, so big shout out here to Kyto for having los cajones, papi, for having, yeah, just the courage to sign up and compete against all these other top tier players here. Not easy whatsoever to try to contest against them, and also it's a good learning experience as well to go up against, you know, the best players in the world, and to kind of compare that to your own play, find your own weaknesses, and of course learn from that, to grow from that, improve from that as well. GG, well played. Creature will take it, we'll advance on, and with that we have our bracket. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. We have a lot to go over, we have a lot to catch up on. From the top we have